guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a full face of Colourpop. I have almost all of the products that are needed for it. I'm missing just a couple of them. I don't have the setting powder, mascara, liner, obviously no lashes, and I don't have a bronzer. However, I do have everything else. So I just wanted to go ahead and do this video for you guys. I actually let my sister pick out some of the products. I only had a few of the highlights, a few of the foundations, and then a couple other ones, but she mainly picked out my lip product, my eye product. Other than that, it was just kind of what I had there. So let's go ahead and get started with today's look. We are going to be doing something pink and purple. I'm going to be using the Ooh La La and the It's My Pleasure monochromatic palettes. And then I do have the scales from the Kathleen Lights Colourpop Zodiac collection. So let's see what look we come up with today, guys. I am super excited for this video, and I've been wanting to do something like this, but I was really nervous to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. Started with my full face of makeup, I usually like to start with my eyes, only because I don't want to get any form of fallout all over my face makeup. I know that I could just use setting powder and not worry about that at all. However, I do just want to go ahead and do my brows, and then we will get started with the eye look. For my brow product, I am going to be using a non-Colourpop product, only because I am out of my brow pencil. I usually use the Brow Boss in shade Brunette. But today I'm going to be using a completely different brow pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and fill my brows in, and then I will be right back. So I have my brows done, and I'm testing out a new eyeshadow primer. So we'll see how this one works. But like I said, we are going to go into the Ooh La La and the It's My Pleasure palette. I think I know what I want to do. I think I want to go with more purple toned. Yeah, and I want to have a really sharp edge, so I'm going to take some tape. Usually I use washi tape, but today I'm just going to use some regular Scotch tape and just place it right here at the outer corner of my eyelid. I'm going to go with the Morphe M507, and ooh, that pan like fell out of the palette. Okay, I'm gonna go into the It's My Pleasure palette, and we are first going to go into the shade Sleeper down at this bottom corner, and I'm just gonna get some of it on the brush and then tap off the excess. And then I just want to kind of start right about up here. And I'm just gonna go in like slow motions just so that I can kind of get where I want it and build from there. And I do want to wing it out. So I'm just kind of starting to go a little bit upwards so that I can. And I'm going in with very, very little bits at a time because I don't want it to go on and then just kind of go everywhere. I want to be able to keep it exactly where I want it. And then I have hooded eyes, so I like to bring wherever my crease is maybe about a 1/4 of an inch higher than where it would normally sit. That way you can actually see the whole eye look versus only a portion of it. And then I like to kind of blend it out. So we have a pretty nice line going so far. You can kind of see it. And I have like the deepest part of the color down at the bottom of it, and it's just kind of fading upwards. And we're just gonna go in again just to deepen that. Now my eye look is also the part of my makeup that takes me the longest to do because I do spend so much time focusing on the detail with it. I don't like going in and just like quickly throwing something on my eyes. I do like to go in and give it as much attention as possible. I think I actually spend the least amount of time on my face, which I probably shouldn't do, but it just works a lot better for me. So the next one I'm going to go into is I'm going to go in the Ooh La La palette. And we're going to come in with Caddy. And we're just going to build that right on top of Sleeper. So you can see it is kind of deepening up. We just want to make that a little bit more deep. So I'm going to be mixing Sleeper and Caddy together. And we're just going to go in kind of with stamping motions now. Now, you can kind of see I'm keeping the darker part of it towards my outer corner and just feathering it very lightly towards my inner corner because I don't want it to be too dark in there. It's going to make me look like I have smaller eyes. I want to keep it darker on the outside. So I'm just going to go back in again with Sleeper and Caddy, tap off the excess, and then go back in with patting motions. Okay, now we're going to keep this brush. We're not going to put it aside because we are going to go back in and use it when we're blending. Now I just want to go in with a brush that's going to be a little bit smaller, like Morphe 506 brush. And next we are going to go in with Poodle in the Ooh La La palette, and we are going to blend that right above the crease line. Kind of see that when I'm on the outer edge, I'm keeping it right there, but as I get closer in, I am going in with more windshield wiper motions so that it feathers out a little bit more. And I want the most pigment at the end of it. And now I want to go in with like a brighter pink just to get a more of a pop. So we're going to go in with Sandbar right here, and we're going to use that same brush that we were using and still doing it the same way that we just went in with Poodle. You want to be careful that you're not over blending it, because if you over blend, it's just going to look really muddy. I'm going to go back in with the M507 brush and go back into Sleeper. And I want to deepen my lower crease line that I created so it's more of a transition from the darker to the lighter. We're going to use Trove right here from the Ooh La La palette. And then I want to kind of focus this one right at the bottom. I'm going to go back in with the 506, and we are going to go back into Sandbar, which was that initial hot pink that we were using. And I just want to brighten the top. So we have a much brighter top to the crease now. So what I want to do is I want to go in with the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in shade Fair 00. And we're going to go in and cut the crease. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So you can see that I cut my crease pretty high because, like I said, I have hooded eyes, so I want to make sure that when I open my eyes, you can still see what's on my lid. So now I actually want to go in with Kitten Fish, which is going to be this lavender shade. And we're going to put that all over the inner portion of my lid using a packer brush. Okay, so I just went in and I packed it into about the center portion of my eye. I do want to put just a little bit of extra pigment right in the center because I am going to go in with a deeper shade and going to blend that into it. And then I'm going to kind of up top bring it in just a little bit more towards the outer corner of my eye. And I'm going to go down kind of at an angle. And I've been really into like almost completely matte looks lately. So I really like the way that this turns out. Let's see. Alright. And now we're just gonna flip the packer brush over to the side that we didn't use. And we're gonna go back in with, Caddy. So again, just packing it onto the brush, and then we're just gonna start gently pressing it onto that outer portion. Be really careful once you start getting to the top of that crease line, because you don't want to accidentally mix this in with the separated crease that you already made. So you're just gonna press really gently. I like to leave just a little bit of negative space because we are gonna go in, we are gonna fill it. We're gonna use the scales to do that. And now that we're in that kind of middle meeting area, we're gonna put both Kittenfish and Caddy on both sides of the brush, and we're gonna make sure that we're just blending it in really easily and really nicely. So we have a pretty nice blend right there. I kind of want to leave that as it is. I'm just going to use my ring finger and just kind of tap it out just a little bit just to make sure that it is completely blended. And I'm going to use my finger in like a very gentle swiping motion. I'm going to go back and forth. Alright. Now I really like the blend that we have going for that. So we're just gonna leave that part as it is right now. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with the scales from the Kathleen Lights Colourpop Zodiac Loose Pigment Collection. And we're just gonna take any mixing medium and we're gonna mix just a little bit of them together so that way we can do a liner right here and throughout the cut crease itself. So we're just gonna go ahead and take just a little bit of it, and I'm just gonna mix it. I don't want to do it on the back of my hand. And we're just going to take, I use a artist brush. Let's see. I just use like a little tiny artist brush like this one whenever I do something like this, because I want to be able to get really good detail on it. And then we're just gonna kind of mix it in slowly. You don't want to put everything together too fast or else you're gonna get super clumpy. So the consistency that we have looks kind of like this. And we're just going to put just a little bit at a time on the brush. And then very slowly, I start about 3/4 of the way down my eye and go up, and then I pull it down and then go around the lid itself. So now we have the liner portion of it. The only problem about doing this is that because we are using such a light pigment and using a mixing medium is going to lighten it a little bit, it does look not as bold. So what you can do for that as well is you can just kind of go straight into the pigment itself and just tap a little bit on top, which is also going to help bring back some of the reflex. So we did to kind of brighten that up a little bit. Now we're going to go in and we're going to do the same thing on the top line of that. And we're going for kind of like a Euphoria vibe, like the TV show, without actually intending to, but that's kind of just what it's trying to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this top line really quick, and I do it really slow. Like when I do my bottom line, I hold the end of the brush. When I do the top, I hold it very, very close. That way I can have a little bit more control over where the pigment itself goes. Okay, now because of how the top line is, we don't actually have to go in and add a little bit more pigment to it because it does pull very pigmented, because you have the contrast of the light versus the dark, versus down here it's just all light. So we're pretty much done with the eye for right now, until we go in and do the lower lash line, lashes, mascara, and add something else to the look. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye off camera, and I'll be right back. So now that we have the majority of the eyes done, all we have to do left is going to be lashes, the lower lash line, and then mascara. So we're gonna go ahead and do the face portion. I'm going to be using the No Filter foundation in shade Light 70. I am going to be using a foundation brush to do it. So just one like this. I like spraying the top of my foundation brushes just a little bit before I put the foundation on them, just to get them a little bit wet. And then I'm gonna take about 2 to 3 pumps. This one locks. I'm gonna take about 2 to 3 pumps and put it right on top. And then I stamp first, and then I stipple throughout. And then I take a beauty sponge and kind of just even it out afterwards. But I do this, that way I get the most coverage out of it. And this one is a little bit darker than what I need. That was my mistake, but I'm too lazy to go get the right shade. So this is what we're working with. You feel like if you need a little bit extra coverage, you can go in with a little bit more. I believe that this one only claims to be medium coverage, but I could be wrong. Now I'm going to go in with just a damp beauty sponge and just kind of buff it out. I am breaking out pretty badly, so I'm not going to go in and try to cover that a whole lot. I'm just going to kind of let it be, just because I don't want to add too much all over the breakouts and just irritate them even more, even though I know doing my makeup in general is going to irritate it. Now I'm going to go in with the No Filter concealer in shade Fair 04 and just do my under eyes. And then I just do a little bit right here. I don't really conceal or put any on my forehead or my lip, or my chin, I mean. And then same thing, I'm just gonna use the beauty sponge. So my setting powder and my bronzer are both non-Colourpop items. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera and do those really quick, and then I'll be right back and we'll do blush, highlight, and the lower lash line. Okay, so I set my face and put on a little bit of bronzer. So now we are going to go ahead and do the blush, highlight, lower lash line, and finish up the look in itself. So for blush, we are going to be using the Colourpop TikTok palette, and we're gonna go right into this one. It's more of a luminous kind of blush, which I don't usually use those, but we're gonna try it out today because it is the only Colourpop blush that I have. So I'm just going to go in with a fluffy brush, just kind of dust it off on my hand really quick, and then we're just going to go right into it. It is right up the alley of the blushes that I use as well. So let's see and hope that we get some pigment with this. It doesn't really look like I'm getting any pigment, so let's try a little bit harder. really just looks like a lot of luminosity. So let's see. I see a little bit of pigment in it, but then again, I'm also not sure if this is actually a blush palette, or if this is a blush, or if this is a blush topper. So we're just gonna keep adding until we get some color. Add just a little bit more over here. And then I like to take a little bit and just dust it on my nose. And a little bit on my chin. Okay. So it didn't give me any pigment. Let me see if there's a light enough one. I'm just gonna go a little bit into Poodle, and we'll try to use that as a little bit of blush. I don't usually go for like pinks like that. I usually go for more coral colored blushes, but that's giving me a little bit. Oh yeah, that was definitely luminous. But this is giving me some actual blush, so that works. And we're gonna go into the Super Shock highlight in Wisp, and this is what it looks like. You can see that there. It's this really, really pretty, like, golden champagne-y color. And first I want to go on just with the tip of my ring finger, and we're going to tap it out. This is so beautiful. I absolutely love the formula of this, and I love the fact that it has a wet feeling. It's not like dry and chunky. We are going to go ahead and finish the lower lash line. That way we can start tying the look together. So to do that, we are going to take what we put up top and we are going to bring some of it down using the same brushes that we did earlier. So I'm going to go in with the Morphe M507, and we are going to go into Sleeper. And then we're going to blend that out, starting from the outer corner, going inwards. You don't want to pull your eye down because that's going to cause wrinkles and creases. So I just kind of gently press on it just to push it down just a little bit. And then I do also, because we have such a sharp line over here, I very, very gently blend it against that line so it's not as sharp. We want to put Sleeper about halfway through because we're going in with a lighter shade on the inner corner. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Going with the M506, and we are going to go back into Poodle in the Ooh La La palette and put that on the inner corner of our eyes. Because I do want a much brighter inner corner, I am going to go back in with Sandbar in the Ooh La La palette, and we're just going to take that on our pinky finger very, very lightly and tap it on the inner corner. You can use a brush for this, and I usually do after I get the initial part going, but I like going in with my finger because I feel like it applies a little bit more pigment versus doing it with the brush. I'm going to quickly apply lashes and I will be right back. So since we're going for more of a Euphoria vibe, which I know this is a super late trend, I went ahead and added a couple of rhinestones on each side. I did go ahead and do my lashes, my liner, or my lashes, my mascara, and get that done. Everything else looks really, really good. Now I do just want to go ahead and do my lips really quick. Y2K, which is the Velvet Blur lipstick. So this is the final look. I really like the way it turned out. I really, really, really like the eye look. I think overall it's very pretty. Everything, especially the eyeshadow palettes, they blended so nicely. The foundation is actually a lot closer to my skin tone than I thought it was initially. So I'm going to continue to use this one. I really love Colourpop's lipsticks. One of their liquid lipsticks in the Ultra Satin formula is my absolute favorite, but I am very sad because it is no longer one that they make. So I just have the tube that I purchased, and that's it. So this is going to be the final look. I really like their highlights as well because they are going to be very creamy. And overall, I just think this entire look was a complete success. I will include a close-up of the eye look at the end of this video. Other than that, guys, I'm so happy with how this turned out. If you wanted to follow along with the look, I hope that my instructions and the step-by-step was very easy to follow. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my video today. If you like the content that you see, if you want to see me continue to create new content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Turn the bell notifications on. I am going to start posting hopefully on Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I can get my video schedule set. And then eventually I'm going to add on a third day of the week, but I'm not sure which one yet. So if you guys like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. It would make me very, very happy. And have a great day, guys.